Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lore Boys, the #1 fake history podcast on the earth. My name is James Miller. What's up, boys?
Do I show my ass now? Do I? Is it now the cheek time? Is this when I pull it out?
I,
I
Oh,
just want a
when
t-shirt
my
that says
ass
that
hits
now.
your eye like a big pizza pie.
Is
I'm
it
Ethan.
cheek
Hi.
time? Great t-shirt.
I've seen posts that mooning is a lost art. It's been on its way out since the invention of cell phones. It's ruined.
Because we're woke.
Oh,
It's
makes
sexual
sense, yeah.
harassment now. It's
Yeah.
bullshit. Liberals took
Mm.
mooning away.
All right. So this episode was not requested, but it's something that I was interested in. I meant to get it out sooner, but through life events, it's out now. The successful space mission Artemis 2, we got a Canadian boy up there, Jeremy Hansen, leading the mission, and everything
More like
went
Jeremy
super
Hansen.
well.
Was he captain?
Mission commander, I believe the title is.
Okay.
I don't think
Are
there's
all of
a
our astronauts named Hansen? Chris? This guy?
Yeah.
Julie Payette,
Related?
which is French for Hansen, I think.
It was really cool to see us go to the moon again after all this time, right? It's been since like the 70s
Yeah.
since we've done it, early
Yeah.
70s. But one thing I really hated was watching that every time we talked to them up there, I just wanted to hear them talk like human beings, and everything was a press conference. Like Jeremy Hansen would start in French to appease the Quebecois first. He's like, "Je suis très fier de Quebec et l'espace." Like, okay, like
I'm proud of space too, though. Honestly,
Yeah, it's
Low
doing
key,
good up there.
not gonna lie. Kind of proud of space and everything it's accomplished.
Yeah, but and like just like the Microsoft Teams thing where that wasn't working. It's like even up there you can't escape. Like in the OneDrive, could you please label this as moon pic with your name after it so we know who took
Oh,
the
yeah, of
photo?
course.
And it's like somebody else figure out how to do it on the camera, you know. But anyways,
I'm recycling my own joke, but honestly, I'm glad it didn't. But if that mission had gone poorly, like some of the ones I'm sure you're going to talk about, I think it would be really funny if 4 people were killed by a meeting that could have been an email, right? Like, could you imagine?
I feel like sometimes I would welcome death, when I'm in those situations. So,
I frequently do. Yeah, I both my meetings today. One of them, I was just like, the solution's not going to work. 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes before the next one was going to start, it's like, we're rescheduling it. I was like, cool, 0 meetings
Based.
today.
Yeah,
Fucking,
based.
it's the most base kind of Monday.
yeah.
Mhm.
So when you say that this meeting could have been an email too, it kind of reminded me that a lot of the content that I was watching to get to know what happened on our journey up there, a lot of people are like, what's the point of this? They're not landing on the moon. We already landed on the moon. This is stupid, right? But
Mhm.
you'll see as we go over all of the space missions that we've done in like the Apollos that not all of them land on the moon. Like they have to do things and test things out so that when they're on the moon, they can successfully get back off of it and be able to and scout things out and do all that. So there's still
It's also like grow the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you, a child? Like, you don't understand the concept of like human exploration and like the
Yeah.
wonder that can inspire in the soul. Like, go fuck yourself, man. What the
Yeah.
hell?
There's
We've
also
had a
like,
lot of magical times. The eclipse too.
Yeah.
I was just like incredible. Like
Yeah,
you guys gave us an
absolutely.
hour off work to watch the eclipse when I was working at
Yeah.
your studio. It was like, yeah. I mean, if I ate dirt and just invented agriculture, this would drive me insane. It's
I don't.
incredible. And
I
then
don't want to
seeing the
sound too
far side
like.
of the moon is also
Yeah.
like
Exactly. Yeah.
spectacular.
I don't want to sound like too boomer, right? And be
Yeah.
like, it's the cell phones these days. But I was listening to a podcast the other day wherein 2 of the people had never seen the video, "The Evolution of Dance," the classic viral
Oh,
video
really?
from 2006, right? And so they watched it and they reacted to it and they were so critical of it. And I was like, yeah, because you've seen a million flawless dance videos on TikTok now. You know what I mean? Like you're just like you don't understand at the time this had never been done, never been seen before. Nobody's
Yeah.
ever seen a dance mashup like this.
No
we
one had
grew, we
ever-
grew our potatoes.
yeah,
We
no one
lived
had
in the
ever been to the
dark.
moon.
Okay. Yeah.
No one had been to the moon.
Like,
It's still cool that we do it now. Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Yeah.
There's what, like 12 people in human history that have touched its surface. Like, come on.
Yeah.
All astronauts and 1 geologist. So
Oh,
we get the
cool.
Armageddon
Oh, that's a
factor.
big
And a-
get for a rock
wait.
guy. Come on.
And a kindergarten teacher, right?
Oh no.
Oh, I'm
she's
sorry.
okay, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we'll get to her.
Yeah, it's not new.
Mrs. Winifred's coming home, right?
Do
I
you
miss her
think
so much.
Big Bird has survivor's guilt from that?
Um,
No, I hope so.
yeah,
That
so
bastard.
it was actually protested a lot when they were trying to go to the moon the first time in the 60s, because a lot of folks who didn't have a lot at home were saying, well, why is NASA investing millions and millions of dollars into going to the moon when I can't feed my family right now,
For
right?
the record,
Mhm.
it is cheaper to go to the moon than it is to be at war with every country on Earth constantly. So you are wrong and mad at the wrong fucking government agency.
Yeah,
For the record,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
Luddite.
Some folks in NASA actually invited these people, 4 people from the protest, in, showed them around, explained what was going on, explained to them that it doesn't work that way. Like, we can't fix things at home. All we can do is try and get to the moon from our
Yeah.
perspective. So
I
that
make
ended up.
rockets, not cheap groceries. I don't understand like how I can explain that to you.
So our humble beginnings for rocket technology started after World War II in 1945, thanks to the German V2 rocket technology and scientists. If you look into the history of NASA, some questionable beginnings. I'll definitely say
That
that.
N stands for something very different.
Yeah, definitely will say that. They took the technology. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why not Nasi? And they're like, no. Yeah.
Institute maybe for the last letter. Let's go with agency.
No.
Yeah.
That's so funny. It was Operation Paperclip, right? That was the what is it? The acquire hire that the Americans did after the Second World War.
Yeah, I don't have it written down, but it could be. Sounds right.
Okay, yeah.
So the competition for how the space race started is what initiated all of the Apollo program, especially between the USA and the USSR.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
So 1955. This is arguably when the competition could have started the space race. U.S. announced its intent to launch artificial satellites, and then a few days later, Russia was like, "Yeah, we're doing that too. We're also launching the satellites."
hmm
Mm-hmm.
The Cold War. I mean, like, there's a lot of things in the culture which clearly broke an entire generation's brain and psyche and ego
Yep.
beyond any sense of repair. I do think like the Cold War has to have been a contributing factor, at least in some part, towards like a rise in we'll call it nationalism. Speaking of the aforementioned Nazis, but it must have been wild to like live through like the pure propaganda from like all the Western countries and then Russia, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's crazy, the entire Eastern Bloc. But
Plus, there's
It's like difficult now because we have the internet now, right? Where now like the lamestream Greedia still operates as if we are in the Cold War, except for the fact every single person on Earth can immediately go like, I can see what you're talking about and you're lying to me. Joe
every
Biden's
single person on Earth can do that, but then there's also psyops online that are
yes.
poisoning our new generation. Like we're getting poisoned. I mean, the boomers are getting destroyed by the internet more than they ever did
Yes.
by anything in their time. But we got to wonder what kind of like strange and fanciful technologies will break our brains and egos in 40 years from now.
And it's already happening. Like whatever we consume, whether it's news sites or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, like
Everything is propaganda, man.
we're just getting poisoned. There's no way.
My girlfriend and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, it must be so hard to be schizophrenic right now. Every time I hear a news story, I'm just like, that's probably true. I have no idea. The world is run by vampires. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like to things where I'm like trying to better myself, like getting like diet tips and all this stuff. Like one guy's like, no, you got a mid-max protein. Then everyone's like, no, you're gonna get colon cancer. Like you have to just focus on fiber. And then they're like, no, like that's like just eat a balanced diet.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And nobody has fucking degrees, and none of this is based on peer-reviewed research.
No.
and like
yeah,
all I want to
it's a
do is
quagmire.
like what's best for myself, and I have really no real idea. Like all I can do is like try and eat foods that aren't processed because that seems like it's probably going to be the thing that is good. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's live your life for yourself, because I think like I think health eating, and I mean we're kind of. I think this is relevant because I think we're touching on conspiracies a little bit, right? Right,
Yeah.
which is relevant to the moon landings. But I think like even back in the day, anybody could publish a health and fitness book. You know what I mean? Because that would have been how you got the information before the internet, right? Was
Yeah.
you'd go to your library on like what should I do to build muscle. And like there's big strides. Like people are bigger now than they've ever been before. And sure, peptides are more
Peptides.
readily available probably than they ever were before. But I
Testosterone.
do also think that there is net increase in knowledge around almost every topic, right? There are just like
Yes.
you can't go too deep into it. Get a skim stuff, get that surface level understanding
That first paragraph of
and ride
Wikipedia,
with it.
baby, right
Yeah,
here.
don't let as soon as the algorithm sends you 3 videos on the same thing, you're like, okay, I got to stop. No more. You cut it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop recommending this channel. You just gotta start spamming that.
I
That's
don't
my
know.
take.
There's so many large-chested ladies who just tell me what's good for me, and I can't look away. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
There's a fitness influencer on Instagram who's like super jacked, but he's clearly had a facelift. His like upper lip is like this all the time, right?
He claimed to have gotten a bomb in the face as a veteran. I know this guy, and then it came out
Yeah.
that he was never injured by a bomb, and he just has an awful facelift and has lied to people. And
I
told them
sent it to
fuck
like
off.
Oren, like my buddy who got me into the gym, right? Like he went with me for 3 months. I was like, dude, I don't know if this guy is giving the best advice on the planet. He's too fucked up, and I can't
Not
hear anything
trustworthy,
he's
man.
saying.
Not
He's
trustworthy.
lied about
Imagine-
like crazy things. Yeah.
Body, and I mean, like, I think body dysmorphia probably pretty rampant in the bodybuilder community, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
like a lack of self-esteem probably pretty rampant.
Yeah.
To self-own so hard that you're like,
Yeah.
I'm ugly like this because a bomb blew up in my face.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I look the way I do. It's like, man, I don't know, dude. Just take all the mirrors out
A
of your head.
bike accident with no helmet would have been way more believable, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And
He
like
said,
not
what
so
is it?
extreme, you know.
An IUD or an IED?
IED.
IED.
Okay. no,
IED would be
An
funny,
IUD going off in your face,
Yeah.
kind of hot.
I went
also
down to my
concerning.
girlfriend and her IUD exploded.
All right. Well, coming back to war, but the Cold War, we have Russia successfully launching the first satellite.
Is it the Sputnik? Is it number 1?
Sputnik number
Mhm.
1 on October 4th,
Okay.
1957.
Should we address the elephant in the room if we're going to talk space race? That the USSR won in every category, and then the United States landed on the moon, and they said we won the space race.
Yes, that's correct.
Speaking of propaganda, every time I like listen to this stuff, it's usually Americans talking about it, and they're always like, "This is
If you don't
was
speak Russian.
a clear victory for the United States. Oh, we landed on it first, and we hit golf balls, and we had an American burger, and then I don't know what, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They planted a flag. You got to admit they did do
Yeah.
that. It was monumental. Why not? Work together. I guess
So
would have been a
Sputnik-
great lesson to take away from it.
Sputnik 2, November 3rd, 1957, just a month under a month later, they sent the first live organism,
Laika, was it Laika or was it a monkey?
Laika the
It's Laika?
dog.
They started with a
Mm.
dog?
That's what I have here. I don't know. I don't know when they sent the monkey.
It's
Actually, I
Laika,
don't
yeah.
have the monkey.
Later. I didn't. Yeah, must have been later. I don't know. Maybe the Americans did a monkey.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
yeah,
looking at-
that's when the space race says, like, we were talking about launching a monkey in the space, actually.
Yeah,
Your dog
I
doesn't
knew-
fucking count.
I knew
comrade.
Laika. I was pretty sure Laika was the first. Yeah.
Yep. Laika, by the way, still drifting farther and farther out into space. Might be one of the farthest Earth organisms from space at this point. Who knows what dinosaurs got cue ball shotted off whenever the meteor hit.
We're doing.
You think they get launched off the planet?
Yeah.
Well, it hits. You ever hit like hit the edge of your plate and it sends the food flying? You know.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Do you guys know what the fastest moving object from from the Earth is? Or I heard this. Again, it could be propaganda, but it's a very funny story.
Okay, well, it's not
They're
the
like
Voyager in that in that
launch.
case. It's not, yeah.
No, there was an explosion underground and a manhole cover just got launched straight into space. And apparently
Yeah.
it's tracked as the fastest moving thing, just careening out into space.
That sounds made up, man. That
Yeah.
sounds made up.
Well, let
Like
me
a
look it
nuclear
up.
bomb couldn't blow a manhole cover into space. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it would be
bomb could do that?
vaporized, right? It's just if you had
Yeah,
enough
that
pressure
that
underneath
can't
it,
be.
and
It
like if
is
you hit it, I choose to believe it. Lore Boy's Earth Cannon, Jamie. I'm talking the manhole covers up there.
funny you
That's
mention it. It was
crazy.
a nuclear bomb during a 1957
Oh, yeah.
U.S. nuclear test. A 900-kilogram steel plate manhole cover was likely launched into space.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
So now it sounds like a Cold War. The United States saying like, yeah, we built a bomb so big it threw a manhole cover into space, and it's the fastest
Yeah.
moving object in the universe. Okay.
143,000 miles per hour is what they clocked it at.
Jesus.
How fast is Voyager going? I wonder.
60.
Not that I think
It'd
it's
be
going
really
faster.
funny. It'd be really funny if like the first
38,000.
contact, like you've got aliens inbound, right? And the Voyager with the golden disc and all that shit, like it's too small. They miss it. But like the thing that prevents us from making alien contact is just a manhole cover, just comes straight through the windshield of an alien spacecraft and sucks them all into space, killing every single one. And they never come here.
Yep, there's a hole made by a manhole.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
So U.S. sees that they got a dog into space, and they're like, "Well, we got to catch up." Yeah, now in February in the following year, so
They said we don't have a dog in this race. We better get one.
Yep.
Ira. We choose to launch dogs into the sky, not because it is easy, but because it is hard.
I was hoping someone
And
had
then
a
they shot
JFK because JFK's coming up soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He makes it too,
Mhm.
right? That teacher and
Yeah, he's
JFK
coming back
are,
from the moon
are
too,
okay.
right? That's how that's very funny.
He got hit by a manhole cover from a
From the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
There was Leo Oswald in the bell tower, did shoot him in the brain, but then there was also a manhole cover launched at 589,000 miles per hour from the grassy knoll.
Cuts the car in half.
Yeah. So U.S. finally gets its first satellite in February. So Sputnik was in October and November of 57, and then in February of 58, NASA gets its first satellite up, Explorer 1.
Way behind, eh?
A couple months. Honestly, much faster than I feel like we would move today, to just be only a couple months behind. In something that takes space. But JFK in 1961, he puts out the challenge, and he says, by the end of this decade, we are going to put a man on the moon and get him back to Earth safely.
And I'm going to see
They
it.
did it.
I'll be there for it.
Yeah.
And they did it. By God, he did it.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't live to see it, but he did it.
Yep. So the first Apollo 1
What
was
do
in
these things look like? I know Sputnik is like an orb with antennas on it. What's the Explorer look like?
I don't know. I didn't actually grab a picture. If you want to grab one, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll pull up the clip here.
Yeah, I focused more on the Saturn V is what I shared with you guys, because everyone who actually got to the moon on the Apollo missions were using a Saturn V.
Saturn V.
Yeah. But we'll get to that, because before that we have the Apollo 1 that wasn't very successful. There was Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Chaffee who didn't make it, because when they were launching, there was a short circuit, and the whole spacecraft was pumped not with like our atmosphere oxygen that is a mix of a bunch of gases. It was pure oxygen. So there was a cabin fire that just rapidly spread, and there's no way to put it out. There's a couple like big glaring safety issues. They had to replace an
It turns out a turnaround time of 2 months was a bad idea for a reason, right? There's a reason it takes us much longer to do it now, you know?
The 61
So we don't incinerate the crew.
This was 61 was the call to action. 67 is when this one took off. So it was a few years, but they did still
There you go.
Okay.
fuck it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and also like to escape the place, it had an inward facing hatch. So if there was a fire, you had to like go into the fire and like pull it back, instead of now they have one that opens outwardly and there's like a release. You can just pull something so it opens. Something they really didn't think about ahead of time. It had to have a tragedy before they could think of it. But
what do we say? Like unions or regulations are written in blood is something I think
Yeah, exactly,
I've
yeah.
heard Ethan say a few times. It's just
There's a story behind every sign, right?
yeah.
And then Apollo 2 and 3 just they're is no people on them. They were meant to be manned missions, but after the first one, they're like, let's do this a couple times without people in it and just make sure that
Again,
everything's okay.
hindsight goes so hard, man. What a
Yeah.
drug.
Well, we were the first people. We sent a fire into space before the Soviets. It's just a cabin fire into space. It's just-
Yeah.
First people to barbecue astronauts. All right.
Yeah.
So one point for the American column. Thank you very much.
The first Texas barbecue in space. Yeah. That's bad. No, obviously very sad. But they, like you said, like they did pave the way and they made it a lot safer for the future iterations because they know what could go wrong. They changed. They didn't put pure oxygen anymore. They made closer to what we breathe here, so you can light a match in your room and it doesn't go up, right? Because there's like nitrogen, there's carbon dioxide, there's all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mostly methane in my room, and it does go up. All right. I love beans.
So Apollo 4. Now, this is the first unmanned launch of the Saturn V. So no people on it still, but we have the Saturn V. And this is what's going to take us to the moon. This is, when you look at, let me pull it up, actually, so I can talk about it. It is the GOAT.
We got first stage, 1,204,000 liters of liquid oxygen, 770,000 liters of kerosene. Second stage, 984,000 liters of liquid hydrogen, 303,000 liters of liquid oxygen. 5 J2 engines, interstage ring to provide clearance between stages.
Yeah.
And then third stage, more hydrogen and oxygen.
There's 3 stages of just fuel to get us where we're going, and then this tiny little tip of the pen of the rocket is where the people stay in, and which will actually come home. It turns out it takes a lot of fucking energy to get away from the Earth, and even when we're talking about the Artemis, who looped around Earth and then slingshotted up to the moon, then looped around the moon to come home. If they somehow missed the moon and didn't catch the gravity of the moon, they would still be pulled back to Earth later because you're still in Earth's gravity, even past the moon, because the moon's in Earth's gravity.
In the well.
So, yes. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I do think it is like we've talked about the Expanse a lot and like the depiction of physics and thrust in those books, which I think is very good. And you said like it's hard to get out of our gravity. You need a lot of materials, and I couldn't help but think like, no, you don't. If you launch something at 500,000 miles an hour, you know what I mean? Like if you just need a couple of drops of plutonium and bada boom, bada bing, it's a bit of TNT, and you're off to the races, as it were. But
I was at the dive bar near me, and when the Artemis was still out there, like because it wasn't out there very long, but when it was on its way out, and I was like, man, it must be crazy going that fast. And the lady I was sitting next to, older lady, was just like, I think they go like 35 kilometers an hour. I'm like,
no.
I'm like, no, they
they
like
go
take
faster than
off at thousands of kilometers, like at like several, I think 100 kilometers an hour they take off. It's like in space, there's no gravity. They're just, I think they're going 3,000 kilometers an hour. So, no, they go like 30. That's why it takes so long. I'm like, the moon's 200,000 kilometers away. They're doing it in 10 days. They're not going 30. What are you
But it's
talking
like you
about?
only feel the thrust if you're under acceleration, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're going that
Yeah.
speed constantly, you're just
'Cause you-
floating around, right?
It's the same reason why when you're in a car going 120 kilometers an hour, it's not like you're not like.
No, I knew that. I was just
Yeah.
like, they're not going the speed limit to
I know.
the
I wish I could have.
moon.
I just wish I could have a fucking word with this woman. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish you got a name and a phone number. 40,000 kilometers an hour. Artemis 2.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
So all to say, like the Saturn was mostly fuel, and then this little tip, and there's 3 main parts of that are important that will become like parts of our story today. Because there's the command module, the service module, and the lunar module. The command module is where you take off from. It's like the seat that's pointing straight up that you're ready to take all your G's in. Your service module is going to have some more of your things that you need, your air filters, which might become important on Apollo 13.
My Labubu's, which I'm bringing with me to the moon.
Your Labubu's, your golf clubs and golf balls. If you're that one guy on Apollo, I think 15, we'll get to it. And then
Richard Nixon's phone number.
Yep. The lunar module is the cool spider that will actually be able to land on the moon. We'll get into them more, but the command module being like the deck where you take off from, you spend a lot of your travel time there. Service modules like more storage, some other systems, and then lunar module being the one that you land are going to be important things in the future. Yeah, so we're still in Apollo 4. They use this rocket. and it was a risk because there's 3 different stages of fuel, and they separate, so they don't want to have to carry that whole giant rocket the whole trip. That's more energy they'll need to use, right? So once they use up all the fuel in stage 1, they just drop it. It falls off.
Yeah.
Stage 2, it drops off. Stage 3, etc. And they didn't test them individually, which they could have, but they're racing the Russians, so they're like, we're doing it all at once, live. Let's go. And
I saw one thing when the Artemis came back. It's like, why do they always land in the ocean? Why do they always miss the ground? It's just like, oh, child left behind, obviously.
yeah, so they take off. All 3 stages go off without a hitch, and everything's fine. It was actually a huge success. Apollo 4 was like a huge bit of optimism. This is a ship that works. This is a ship we're going to use. Yeah. Then Apollo 5, we test the Spider, or the lunar module. So I put a picture of it there. You can see this is the thing that will actually land on the moon for Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin eventually.
Yeah.
And Glenn Campbell?
The third guy who didn't go to the moon, he was still in orbit, right? He was on the command module?
Yes. The third guy, let me grab it here.
Buzz Aldrin knocked
Michael-
a guy the fuck out. Just a moon conspiracy theorist. He was like, "Why have you been living this lie for so long?" Blah 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 blah, or whatever. You're a fucking liar. You never went to the moon. You're not a hero. And Buzz Aldrin just absolutely beat the piss out of him, just like right in the face.
A cool thing to look at when you're looking at this Spider is look at like what looks like almost gold foil on the sides. It's extremely easy to break these things. Like, it's crazy how delicate this stuff. There's a point in Apollo 13 we're going to talk about where they need to use this thing as a life raft to get home, and they're worried about putting their feet through the siding and just going into the vacuum the entire way home, which was over the course of days.
Oh, that's like on the inside. You can see that foil.
I don't know exactly what it looks like on the inside, but I know that the astronauts mentioned that while they were basically hypothermic on their way home, they were worried about putting their feet through the wall and just getting sucked out into space.
Even seeing the inside of the Artemis, like, I understand it's for weight reasons and like actual geniuses build these things. So disregard everything I'm about to say. It still looks so fucking uncomfortable on the inside.
Yeah, why not put
50 years and it's still everything's held together with ratchet straps. Everything's just like floating around. Like, what the fuck?
Like one shelf to put the Labubus on, so you don't have to just got armfuls of them. Like it's just
ridiculous.
The nerds, man.
I was watching some of the live streams, and at one point, I think it was Reed Wiseman or Jeremy Hansen who was just like answering news channel stuff. And Victor Glover, the pilot, is right behind his head, just cleaning his bare feet. So he's here giving a
Dude, could you imagine you're in the fucking space, like you're in the space, you're in this like little fucking tin can hurling at 40,000 kilometers an hour, all recycled air. You're drinking each other's recycled piss, and like this guy's got the audacity to use a pumice stone on his fucking corns, dude. Like, come on.
The flex everywhere. Ah, God.
Yeah. Like, I know you're using the vac, dude, but like it's not enough. If one piece escapes, I'm gonna be upset. Okay.
We're out for a week. You
jam up
do
the
it
instruments.
Before.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to give him too much credit, because he is an evil monster. But when those 2 astronauts were stuck on the ISS for a long time because the Boeing spaceship fell to pieces when it was trying to go get them, Donald Trump did have a couple of good lines where he was just like, "You think they're in love up there right now? They spend so much time together. They must be so happy. I hope they love each other because they'd go crazy." And I was like, just like a little glimmer of the old man still in there when his brain just flicks on for a second. I was like, all right. He's still got one in him every once in a while.
They got those 2 back, and when they came back to Earth, they were like severely messed up, like could not walk because of they didn't have gravity for so long.
Well, they weren't supposed to be in 0G that long. Their muscles and their bones were all fucked up, right?
I think every astronaut who comes back from the ISS, they get taken off the lander on a stretcher.
Yeah.
It's like all of them. It's rough.
Even they do like 2 hours of working out per day with like these resistance bands, and like there's like those VR things that they have where they clip at your waist so you can run on a treadmill. Yeah, they have those up there too. There's one guy, this guy who was, I forget his name. I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. He was the only astronaut known to gain weight in space. and he
Hell
would.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
There was colored stickers to say like which rations were yours, and he just liked certain ones, so he would switch the stickers around and eat all the spaghetti or whatever. And then he ordered a pizza from the ISS, so when he landed at home, there would be pizza waiting from him, and that was the first pizza order.
That's
for
great.
Space. Yeah,
That's
That's
good.
so based. That's a great
That's a
idea.
good move. That's a good move.
Yeah.
yeah.
I call ahead to the restaurant that's downstairs from me. Like that guy's living in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, so Apollo 4 showed that our ship, it could do it. It could take us to the moon. Then Apollo 5, we test the Spider, but we do it within Earth's orbit. So we go out
Okay.
because it actually has to detach and then turn around like after it comes off of the command module and stuff. I don't know why they built it that way, but it has to detach and then turn
For
around.
being aerodynamic, because if the feet were pointing out,
There's no
instead of,
air,
like,
Peter.
down,
Yeah.
to take off. It's on the end. I was thinking of
No,
leaving.
no, it's like it's inside. So it's inside
Oh.
the second phase will break off and then reveal it, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then
Okay.
they have to redock it too, because once they actually do Apollo 11 with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, one guy stays up. I'll grab his name.
They
Michael
do docking up
Collins.
there?
I was gonna say Michael Collins has the foreskin and the command module up top,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Buzz is circumcised back down on the lunar surface, right?
Yeah. And he has to take off, get into the moon's orbit, redock, and then get all the way home, which is kind of
Right.
crazy that we did that in the 60s.
Mhm.
But anyways, then Apollo 6 we have known as the necessary failure, which was an unmanned mission.
My dad calls me.
Necessary failure, yeah. It took off. It had problems with two of the engines completely going out. Third engine worked on going out, but then was not able to reignite to get thrust. It would have killed astronauts if they were on board, but they weren't. So it led to a bunch of engineering problems that allowed us to have our first manned mission on the next mission.
So you say necessary failure. That is again in hindsight, right? Like it wasn't that like we know all these things are going to break, so let's shoot it. They were
No.
like it happened. It happened to be unmanned, and then they had all these problems that they were able to root out.
Yeah, they probably had a choice, like,
Okay.
should we send people or not this time? And they're like, well, that Apollo 1 fire was pretty gnarly. Let's not let's not rush this one. Yeah.
Double digits before we put a guy in there. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. Like I know there's a couple. Has a rocket ever crashed? Or they? Because I know of ones that have blown up on the way out. And then
Rockets
obviously when
have.
we
I
were
don't know
in
if any of the
elementary
Apollo
school.
ones did. But
Yeah.
Like what? Like hit a
But even
seagull?
shuttles
or-
haven't crashed because like the Columbia, when it was coming down when we were in elementary school, burned
The,
up in the
like,
atmosphere.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Like
brutal.
the plate came off.
Like
yeah.
even Artemis 2 was using the same heat shield as they used in a previous run, and there was problems with the heat shield in the way in. It was like heavily damaged by the time they got down. So the re-entry of Artemis 2, they didn't change the heat shield. They're like, we'll just do it again. It'll be fine this time. And that was like kind of really scary. Like the re-entry, I was able to record this before they got back, and I was worried that I would be like, yeah, let's talk about a huge
Release an
tragedy that
episode
just
and,
happened.
and
Yeah.
do our stupid goofing.
Yeah, but it was all a success. Everything was great. This leads us to Apollo 7 in 1968. So we're already at 7 in 1968. We're gonna go to the moon by 1969. Things are gonna start happening.
Yeah, I was
pretty
gonna
damn
say.
fast.
I was like, I was like, there's one more year, right? It's
Yeah.
good.
So this is the first crewed flight after Apollo 1. And they redesigned the command module where the people would be. This is the first time there's people in it since the last time. And they did their first live TV broadcast from an American spacecraft. Everything went fine. The oxygen was less oxygen, and they were able to get home safely. So that's good.
Good on them. Yeah.
Apollo 8, same year in 1968, actually got to the moon and did similar to what Artemis did, was able to circle the moon, but they did it 10 times. They went around, and if you've ever seen the Earthrise photo, which is you see the surface of the moon with Earth being over the side of it, which I provided
Yes.
for you guys there. That was on Christmas Eve they read from the Bible and showed that reading from the Bible is a funny one from space, but they read from the
Yeah.
Bible and
Yeah,
then showed Earth rise. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's a
I mean,
beautiful
come on,
photo.
guys.
It's kind of amazing, like
Gorgeous. Yeah.
just
It is, yeah.
seeing our fragile little bit of life from so far, and like I can't help but think like what the people like in Apollo 13 are gonna think. Apollo 13 is the one that the movie's written about, and we're gonna get into.
Yes.
It has the most meat for an amazing triumph of humanity. Like even though landing on the moon was cool, like getting home against all odds is kind of a
Yeah.
way more human and cool story to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Being played by Tom Hanks is the real achievement of humanity, dude.
Yeah. So they go around the
I love
moon.
when people look at stuff like this and instead of being inspired or like there is like a sense of awe in your reptile brain that is just like incredible. I love how there's people who look at that and just be like, it's fake.
Not fake.
You're an idiot.
That's
You're
AI.
a fucking idiot.
That's AI. I mean, yeah, it's tough, dude. Like we're just talking about, maybe it was on the I think it was on this episode, but about like, the brain rot that we're subjected to. But like we always were. Like I said, people always put out fake fitness books and stuff, right? Like there's always this false information going around. It's hard when people are actively, knowingly, willingly. It's the middle of the fucking Cold War. We know there was fucking psyops going on that a lot of governments were conducting on their own citizens, on foreign citizens. Like it's
Yep.
hard to know what to trust, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, even if it is fake, like I'm gonna choose to believe. Like, why is your default choose to not believe? It's such like a wonderful thing. Like it's just good news, Just buy into it. Who cares,
They're not lying to you about going to the moon. They're lying to you about
No.
why they're killing people.
Yeah.
Because you're next.
That's it. Yeah. And it's like, even if it's fake, it's the Easter Bunny, man. Like it's harmless and
Yeah.
it's nice. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Apollo 9, 1969. So we're in the year that we'll actually land on the moon. But they do
Okay.
a lunar module. That's the spider thing that's actually going to land with the gold foil on it. They do a dress rehearsal in Earth orbit. So have it detach, have it turn around in the ways it needs to turn, undock, redock with the foreskins.
Yep.
And do a couple spacewalk tests. So they actually went out with their little tube and their little tube. I don't know why I made it diminutive. Out in space where there's no air.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, pretty little compared to the Canadarm, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I remember when that thing went up. That was a big deal. We had pictures of it up in my elementary school.
The most virile piece. I mean, yeah, like we love you, America, and we love you, Americans, obviously, and we knock you sometimes, but it's just because you're the big dog, obviously. Like such unfounded patriotism up here north of the border for that. Like, I was knocking on you for being like, oh, you did the one thing and you claim you won the space race. We did the one thing. We're like, that's the most important part of the ISS, though, honestly.
Yeah.
Like any Canadian you talk to is like, yeah, well, there'd be no ISS without the Canadarm, really. So no one else could have done it, only Canadians. So, you're welcome.
That's kind of true if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's also very big and virile. So, we gave the ISS a cock. Like, you're welcome.
Hell yeah.
Prehensile cock.
The Apollo 10. So now we're still in 1969 where the next mission will be the moon landing.
That's the big one, 11.
So Apollo 10, we went all the way to the moon and we flew to 15 kilometers for us Canada arm Canadians over here, or 9 miles above the moon's surface. So we rotated around it like pretty low orbit to find to find the best place to touch down. So we're like, where are we gonna land when we actually do it? We don't know what this looks like.
Scouting mission.
Yeah, when I made a restaurant reservation, I also checked if there was going to be parking. So obviously, we're the same league here.
I run around a restaurant in a 15-kilometer radius a couple dozen times before I go in.
Exactly. I mean, Kyle died in my first car fire, so I was prepared this time. So I tried to drive to the restaurant 11 more times.
An unmanned trip to the restaurant. You just send a Waymo or whatever.
It's DoorDash. Yeah, wow. The moon landings, the Apollo missions gave us DoorDash. You're welcome. All right.
Whoa.
You ask, why do we do it if it's so expensive? That's why, so we can all have DoorDash. Okay?
Are you saying DoorDash people are not men or women?
No, of course not. They're like husks,
Oh,
right?
ma-
Doesn't Silicon Valley like scoop out all their human parts? Don't they? Wait, I'm
I
not
think so,
subjecting
yeah.
real people to this, am I?
Yeah.
No.
I
So
saw one thing that
conflicted
was
all of a
just like,
sudden.
how do you know the economy's bad right now? It's just like, yeah, I ordered DoorDash and a white guy delivered it. I was like, oh my, that's so bad.
Well, I remember being in Mexico and like ordering it because it was like so incredibly cheap in Mexico City when you have Canadian dollars, right? And I ordered like 3 tacos and a beer, which came up to 4 Canadian dollars. And a woman
Oh,
showed up
God bless.
with her baby on her hip to deliver it. And I gave the
Oh.
biggest tip I could. I was like, I feel so awful about this whole thing. You should be at home resting. But anyways, Apollo 11, 1969. This is the one you know about. This is the moon landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Neil Armstrong.
July 16th. When did they launch?
I don't know
I know,
which
I know
exact date.
they landed on the 20th. I know that, July 20th. That's
Okay.
the day of the moon landing, but I don't know how long it takes them to get there.
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and they have the lunar module that they named the Eagle, because when it landed,
Oh, yeah.
the Eagle is landing.
July 16th, Ethan.
Yeah, I got it right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael Collins, he was he pulled
Correct.
the short straw. He had to stay in orbit, or maybe that was the good thing because he gets to go home if landing on the moon's a really bad idea. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're already in for a penny at that point, so might as well go.
It's just like all quicksand. Like Neil Armstrong just steps out, just goes straight into it.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Apollo 10 scouted for moon monsters, but they didn't think to scout for moon quicksand.
No.
That's why they'll send the geologist later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send him throw him a moon jungle vine so he can pull himself out.
Just like Michael Collins in orbit, like letting a long rope down that he's made out of all the plastic bags on the ship.
Oh, like a bunch of bed sheets tied together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gold foil off the outside of the ship. He stripped it all off.
the little bow knot at the end.
So they took the Saturn V, the one that we've been using for the last few missions. They stay on the moon for a full 2 hours, grabbing samples, doing fun stuff. But as they're about to leave, I didn't actually know this. The lunar module ignition would not start. So
Left the interior light on when you step out.
actually, though, so they stay calm. Something that I admire about I don't know if it's they just get back to Earth and they say it that they were cool and collected the entire time, but they train and train and train and train. So they just fall into these. Okay, well, let's start diagnosing this. They have to think there is a solution to this problem because otherwise they'll just bounce off the walls and they'll
Have a
still
cast
be
iron wheel to the fucking moon, dude. Of course.
they're
Like unflammable.
it's drilled into them, but they're also selected for it, right? Like
Yes.
you're tested during the selection process for like, can you handle stress? And if you show any signs, it's like you're not going to space, buddy. Sorry, like can't panic.
Yep. So
Could you
Buzz
imagine
Aldrin-
if that phone call to Richard Nixon was just like, fuck! Fuck! Like that's not heroic at all.
one small step for man, one giant shit in my pants. Buzz Aldrin actually he knows how the ship works. They're educated on this, and he knows the circuit for the ignition. And he realizes that there's some type of break in the circuit, and that if he could grab a pen and just keep the tip of the pen where the 2 wires were separated while they start the key, it'll start up. And they were able to start up the ship with the tip of a pen on a wire.
Holy shit.
Pretty damn intense when you're on the moon.
I mean, it's the equivalent of like you lock your keys in your car and you got the coat hanger, trying to grab your.
A taxi
do
will
that
do
on
for
cars
$20.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have triple NASA or something to come help them out while they're up there?
Yeah.
Very good. I didn't get that.
And then even on the ride home, they had to leave with the lunar module, meet up with their buddy who is spinning around the planet they're on, or the moon that they're on, right? And then redock, and then still get all the way the fuck home. which
Yeah,
they were
Mr.
able
Collins,
to
I'm running out of fucking pens here. Can we get
Yeah, so they go and on their way home. They start to get these 2 errors that keep beeping throughout the ship, and Neil Armstrong had to take manual control of the ship to navigate through debris at a certain point. They still get all the way home. They have that historic line when he steps out: "One step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And
Yeah.
then
Mhm. The mankind from the top rope.
yeah,
Out of
exactly.
nowhere.
Very good. Cool. So we still have Apollo 12 through 17 to cover, as well as just a little bit about Artemis. But we'll do that after the break. And the next one, or the 2 from now, Apollo 13, that's where a lot of the real juicy, crazy shit happens. So stay tuned and
Yeah.
come on back after the break. Hello, and welcome back to the Lore Boy. This is the first podcast to have. Did we go to space? I don't think we went to space. Can someone please, Jeremy Hansen, can you please play us in space and send it to?
I think we've been to space. I think we have. I think like a couple years ago we went on like a whim. You remember we were supposed to go to Cancun, but then
We were
the
driving
flights got
over that.
canceled.
We're driving over that manhole right when the nuclear bomb went
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
It's just you in my passenger seat giving me like a chicken Caesar wrap, and we're going 30,000 kilometers an hour straight up. Just like,
So welcome back. Let's get into Apollo 12, the last one of 1969, before we get into Apollo 13. So Apollo 12, just some spark notes here, not a huge one. They wanted to get precision landing down. So not only just land on the moon, but really nail it. And
Yeah.
they sent up a surveyor probe earlier.
our space crash test dummies are coming back way too mangled. Buzz Aldrin is not gonna like that.
Yeah, way too barbecued. Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
So there's a surveyor probe up there that had some geological samples in there, and they wanted to land close to it so they can get the stuff out of the probe.
Naturally.
At launch, the rocket, while it was launching, got struck by lightning twice.
Auspicious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Does that put a stop to the launch? Do they like did it get struck once and they say like, okay, call it off. We're gotta start back at 10. They
It
start
never
over at
happens
10,
twice.
yeah. No, they still continued on. They recovered with the mission. There's like some problems with some of the equipment, but they were able to keep it going. They brought a color camera to film color video, but they pointed it at the sun and it fried it.
I mean, an incredible learning moment, right?
Yeah.
That's
this
another
beautiful-
necessary failure.
Yeah. That lovely atmosphere that we burned a hole into in the 80s.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a pretty good radiation shield, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that didn't work out, but they did get there. They got home. They got some geological samples, and like when you think you're going to space, like there's gonna be cool science things that we figure out, like aliens, whatever. A lot of it is like we just found a new type of rock, which gives us a little bit more history about the moon. Like that's the type of science that goes on up there.
That's
Mostly,
still very cool, right?
to me, it is. Yeah, they're looking for
a lot of science in the trip, right? A lot of science in developing the modules and the rockets and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's like memory foam came from those missions. I think there's like a piece of like cameras or like a thing that we use in cell phone cameras now that
That's why I
come
can
from
take
the
pictures of
Apollo
the sun
missions.
with my phone and it doesn't
Exactly.
explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we need a better system.
the
Honestly,
ballpoint pen, which you can also use to start your car if it won't start.
are we sure? Are we
Oh.
sure JFK didn't just look at the sun?
His head exploded. Yeah.
He was looking at the sun right as a manhole cover took his head clean off at 500,000 miles an hour.
So Apollo 12, success. They made it home twice now. They've done it twice. Pretty cool. Apollo 13. So this is the one that
Lucky number.
the movie's made about. This is where shit is going to go pretty wrong. And like I have a little tiny paragraph for every Apollo mission This one goes on for basically a page because a lot of
Have you
shit
seen the
happened.
movie? It's very good.
I
I
watched
have
it
it.
at a birthday party that we were both at, Ethan, when we were really young.
Maybe I have.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
at Ben Allen's birthday, they rented it, and I remember
Okay, shout out
watching
Ben
it.
Allen.
I remember watching it and being like, "Oh, like what are they gonna do? How are they gonna fit the square into the circle?" And there was probably 12 little boys or more, just all in sleeping bags around the TV. But
Funny because I feel like I remember watching Armageddon at one of his birthday
maybe it was
parties.
Armageddon,
Hey.
and I conflated them over the years too. Though it could be. This is long enough that I'm
I
not
might
confident about it.
There is no
Mhm.
science in Armageddon at all, for the record. It's a
I just
very
remember
different film.
I remember Ben Affleck more than anything else. I
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
remember
and
anything
Aerosmith.
about.
Man.
I don't remember much about Armageddon either, to be honest, other
Yeah.
than the ending when Bruce Willis.
I had never seen it
dies.
up until recently, where one of you recommended I watch it. So I watched Armageddon for the first time in the past like year or two. But I
did
love
too.
an insane birthday rental. Like I remember going to, I can't remember his last name. Eric though. It was Eric with a K, not Eric with a K of Lore Boys fame.
Okay.
His mom had rented us Daylight for his like 12th birthday, which is a Sylvester Stallone movie about like a tunnel collapse where a bunch of people get trapped in a fucking tunnel and like a bunch of people die. It's like a disaster thriller that was like,
Okay,
yeah,
that
I
sounds
like
really
Sylvester Stallone.
familiar. Is there like a flood at some point and like it
Yeah,
starts
and a
filling with
fire.
water?
Yeah,
Okay, like I've tried to find this movie as an adult, and I definitely
it's called
rented that
Daylight,
as a kid.
as far as
Yeah.
I know.
It's tough though. The cave stuff is really hard. Like I can't look away, but like I it takes a certain type of person who wants to squeeze through a
It's a
tiny
traffic tunnel in this movie, Jamie. It's like there's like a traffic accident and
Oh.
collapses two parts of like you know the tunnel that goes underneath Montreal? It's
Oh.
like that where
I
it,
won't
like
even
it
do
collapses the
those.
entrance and the exit.
I won't even do those, man. It's too much of
No
a squeeze.
tunnels, no overpasses. All right, none of that for me. Overpasses
That's
too
why it
high
takes
off the
4
ground.
hours to get to Ethan's place when I'm driving Jamie. He won't let me take the windshield. We live on a fucking island.
So Apollo 13, we have a planned moon landing. We're gonna go for the third time. This could be great.
Easy. This is
The
gonna
charm.
be easy.
We've got our commander, James A. Lovell Jr. He's an experienced astronaut. He flew on Gemini 7, Gemini 12, Apollo 8. We got John L. Jack Swigert Jr.
What?
Swigert Jr.
Okay, not what I heard.
Command module pilot. So he actually replaced the original pilot, Ken Mattingly, just 2 days before launch because Ken Mattingly was exposed to measles.
Yes, I remember this in the movie. There's one guy who has to stay home. I thought he had a cold. Yeah, because I remember seeing this in the movie. Yeah, he like gets sick and like we can't put germs in space.
Well, you can't have your whole crew dying of measles, right?
True. Yeah.
And there's a good chance, like when we see what happens here, that if one of them had measles, they would all have had measles. One of them will get sick. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I think they vaccinate their astronauts for Christ's sake. I mean, right?
When was the measles vaccine invented? Definitely not in 1969, right?
Oh, okay. Hang on, let's find out.
Measles vaccine.
Yeah, this is 1970. 1970 for this one.
Okay. No, 63 first license. So yeah, they could have
Yeah.
been vaccinated.
So our last crew member, the lunar module pilot, he's gonna drive the Spider. Apollo 13 is his first mission. His name's Fred W. Hayes Jr. Fred Hayes, and
Fred Speed Demon Hayes.
they were all juniors. I was
I
popular.
was just about to say, yeah.
That's a lost art. Much like mooning as a lost art. I feel like naming your kid just your name and then Junior. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
lost art.
Back in my day, we used to name our kids our names and show them our ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't show them affection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was too busy smoking cigarettes and getting drunk at 2 PM for that.
So what happened on Apollo 13? We're getting broadcast back to Earth. At this point, they'd landed twice, so there's not the hype that there was for Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. The crew said they're
Yawn. Going to the moon
Okay,
again.
getting bored of the moon landing is insane. This is like the entire plot of the Jurassic World films is that people are tired of cloned dinosaurs. Impossible. You will clone dinosaurs before people get bored of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, snore. We've been there. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. One Triceratops would satiate the entire human attention span for like decades, honestly.
It would change culture for centuries. Just like the fucking moon landing, right?
Exactly.
In one of their interviews, they said they were, quote, bored to tears on their flight. So not only the people at home are bored, the people on the way to the moon, we're going to land there. This is boring as hell.
Oh, what? Infinite majesty of the cosmos again? Yawn.
Well, hopefully something spices their trip up, Jamie, right?
Yeah.
It would be devastating if all these juniors were just like, this is a snooze fest, okay?
Yeah, they're gonna be seniors when they're done with this, I think.
Yeah. The rookie Fred Hayes started playing jokes on them by hitting the pressurization valve, which would make a large bang in the in the spacecraft. He'd go boo, it would go bang. Everyone would look worried. He'd be like, "Ah, gotcha." And they'd been to space. He'd never been to space before, and he had the confidence to do this.
Don't send a prankster to the moon, dude.
Oh.
No rapscallions,
But
nothing
he's a
like
speed
that.
demon. No one can
Oh,
drift
true.
like him, dude. They had to go to Tokyo to get him.
Yeah, to get the lunar module onto the planet. Yeah.
Some damn fool said you were the best.
Yeah.
So again, we're on the Saturn V, the one that we talked about, where you have the command module, the lunar module, the one starts with an S. I forgot now. Whoop. Service module.
Man. Oh, it's so fucking cringe, dude.
Oh no! Did I end the call?
What
sure
timing?
did.
Yeah, you did.
You sure did. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back.
Oh,
Double
wow.
check
Holy
that video
fuck.
feed. Double check the video feed that you didn't just point it into the sun by ending the
Yeah.
call.
No, it's
No.
okay. There'll be a little break in it, but
It'd
okay.
go black.
That's so
Let
funny.
The video will go black. They won't hear our new boot goof in here. But...
So they use the Saturn V rocket, like they have in the past, and they had the lunar module.
And that starts with an S.
The lunar
Oh, that's it. Yes. That's what you were talking about?
The command module.
I was literally about to say the Saturn V whenever you rage quit the call, Jamie. So
Yeah.
It's hard because I have to record video on my left screen, and then when I'm piloting, I have my script on the right screen. So if I have to check Discord, I can't minimize our video, or else OBS stops recording it for some reason.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
There's a little bit of. I'm kind of an astronomer myself over here piloting this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the Lore Boys astrology girl. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the service module. So we have the command, lunar, and
that's
service
one of
module.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Command is the tip, like where they lay down for leaving the atmosphere. Then they have the service module,
Service
which
is
has
with the butler, of course.
service
yeah.
modules in between. It's like the longer cylinder that has different
Like
things
this?
on.
In between.
That's right. And then at the very bottom is the lunar module. This will be important on the test because there's going to be shit where we need to rely on modules what they're not used for in Apollo 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So part of
the butler's going to be in the command module or something. What the
They have a
hell?
dumb waiter on the lunar module, obviously to save on weight, right? You can't ship a fourth guy up there.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be part of the problem is the number of people in a certain module because one of the modules, the lunar module, is designed for 2, and they might need 3.
Oh no.
Yeah. So part of the flight was televised, but the stakes, like, they feel so much lower. Like, we've been to the moon twice. Everyone's been fine since Apollo 1. Like, it's been years at this point, right? It's been 6
Nothing
years.
has blown up or gone wrong since the first guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Either land on something new or blow yourselves up. Okay. If you want my attention. All
We're trying
right.
to get ratings here.
Yeah. I'm browsing thirst traps on TikTok.
Yeah. Burn your shit or get off the pothole. Now they're almost to the moon. And one of the astronauts goes to flick the switch to get one of their oxygen tanks is depleted, and they have to flick the switch to get oxygen from another one to start the fans.
Can you turn on the thing that makes sure we don't die there, Jamie? Just super quick if you can. Just very quickly here.
Put the new prankster kit on it, would you?
Yeah.
Everyone starts talking like this. I swapped it with helium, guys.
Yeah. It's basically was ended up being an electricity issue when they did the post-mortem. It was when they refitted the wiring, the amount of power going through the wire was just like a completely different value when they refitted it. Like one part was not talking to the other in a proper way, and there was a short circuit right next to a highly flammable oxygen tank that explodes mid-flight.
Whoa, not good.
They look at Fred. They're like, "Fred, what are you doing, man?"
When you quit doing the bang button, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real like boy who cried wolf situation here. Like nobody's gonna believe him at this point.
I'm telling you, there's a gremlin on the wing of the plane.
Yeah. And we get the famous line, "Houston, we have a problem." And
Okay.
that's from that.
The Eagle has landed and Houston has had a problem. This is why we go to the moon, okay? You naysayers, to come up with banger lines that Hollywood can use, okay?
So oxygen tank depleted. They've already breathed it up. They sucked it up their dumb lungs. And
Yeah.
now
Mhm.
tank 2 has leaked mostly into space. They can look out and see a cloud of oxygen that has left from their final tank of oxygen. The
But
thing
you guys
that
wish you
will
had a
keep-
fucking cannon arm now to pull that shit back in. Eh?
Yeah. Grab all the little oxygens and put them back in the
You're
tank.
just grabbing a cloud.
Like a butterfly net.
Little robotic.
Can the Canada arm blow O's, dude?
It's like a vape on it.
Yeah. So the moon landing, they abort that. There's no way that they're landing on the moon and getting back up to the service module and then booking it all the way home. Right now, they're low on oxygen, and more importantly, they're low on power. And the
Yeah.
power does basically everything they need. It's comms to get home. It's the ways they can see around them. It's their eyes, their ears, their everything, right? You're just in a tin can with like a couple windows. It's really hard to, it's not like driving a car. You can't just point in a direction and go. And there's like yaw, there's what's all the things in 3D space?
Pitch,
Pitch.
Yaw.
Yaw.
Roll.
drag, roll. I don't know.
But
I
anyway,
have a remote control helicopter that has all three of them on the remote control. Trim is one of them. If you there's a trim dial on the controller as well. It's pitch, yaw, and trim, which helps adjust it and stabilize a little remote control helicopter.
Google says roll.
I think it's
Roll
Huh.
pitch, yeah.
either
Roll
way,
pitch,
You got-
yaw?
Let me guess. Made in China, Peter, huh?
Oh, true. I'll
In
check.
communist China, they say tilt.
your
or whatever
car
you
can
say.
only
I don't remember.
Your
Trim.
car can only spin out to the left or the right. It can't spin head over head in most cases. It can't spin at a weird angle
Well,
You'd be
diagonally.
surprised.
In Australia, they can only spin to the right. In Canada,
Okay.
they can only spin, or in the northern hemisphere, they only spin to the left.
Right. Car accidents are way different down there, yeah.
Well, their tires spin backwards.
Yeah.
So, there's only 15 minutes of power and oxygen left in the service module in which they're supposed to spend the majority of their time at this point. So they have to make a split decision and flick off all the power and oxygen in the service module and put 3 people instead of 2 into the lunar module. So that spider with the tinfoil walls has to now take in not 2 but 3 people. So even more than they were intending to have. But there's oxygen
Yeah.
there. Oxygen, we're doing okay on oxygen. Houston's calculating. They have, by the way, all the videos of this are not people running things in programs or Excel or like physics programs. They're jotting on a notepad at this point.
Yeah.
To engineer their way out of this. And over the course of 3 days, they come up with a solution. They figure out how long these people have left based on the power they have, based on the oxygen they have. They somehow diagnose what's wrong with the ship, even though nobody really on board knows what's been destroyed at this point. They just know something's blown up, and they can see oxygen coming out through a window. So
Yeah.
it's pretty.
I mean,
incredible.
I think it's worth noting, like, I don't think, like, computers obviously help a tremendous amount today, but I still think, like, orbital mechanics is a very advanced field of physics, which is, like, very difficult to know. Like, oh, you're a body in space that weighs approximately this much, moving at approximately this speed, because kind of like you said, like you don't have an odometer reading the spin of your tires to tell you how fast you're going. You're moving approximately this fast. We think the moon's about here, but we can't even see it in real time because
We
there's a
think
light delay to the moon,
Yeah.
right?
we think the
And like
moon
there's a lot
weighs
of things that go
about
into it.
this much. You can't put the moon on a
Yeah, exactly.
scale. Like
Yeah,
We
no.
and then
we think the Earth weighs this much. We don't really know. Like, you know,
yeah,
like it's all. We don't know what's in the middle of the Earth, really. Like we do
yeah.
know it's a molten iron core, but at the same time, like we can't go down there and fucking look.
No.
To be 3 humans in like less than a tin can on the way home is just so a pinnacle of like what humans can do. It's just so fucking amazing. And this
Yeah.
turns out to be a good story. But so yeah, they have 3 people. Houston calculates. They're like, we can support life for approximately 2 days. If with the current power and the current oxygen, the power being more of the problem here. But we don't know how long it's going to take to get 3 people home. So we could do a straight burn for home. Right now, we're still out there. We could just turn around, burn for home, see what we can do. Or we can conserve a bit of power and use the moon's gravity to go around the orbit of the moon and slingshot home, like we've done in the Artemis 2 just now, right?
Yeah.
And then you pull a burn right as you're exiting the gravity pointing towards Earth. And you burn really, really hard for an hour or whatever it is, so you can get home and you just coast that speed and then adjust to re-enter at some point.
While they're thinking about this, like Speed Demon, the prankster guy, goes to hit the valve again, but this time it just turns on like the neon lights on the lander. He's like, let's drift this bitch, huh?
Dude, we gotta conserve power, man. Fred, chill.
The light strips are very important to Captain Speed. Demon, okay?
Yeah, exactly. You want to drift or not?
The controls also too. Like this lunar module is meant to land on the surface of the moon and then come back up and redock. It's not meant to fly all the way home to Earth. It's completely out of the design scope. And the controls are all fucked up when you're just in the vacuum of space. They said it like an analog or like a way to think of it is if you're using like a controller and when you pressed up it actually did left and you pressed right and it actually did down. Like when nothing did what it was supposed to when it was out there. Right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't a 1-to-1. Like they had to just do inputs and see what happened.
I was just imagining that it also has like a regular car parking brake in it for when they have to drift around the moon. It works somehow.
So again, oxygen, not the limiting factor. They're able to stretch out their oxygen, but power. So
they can rotate breathing, right? It's just like, no. Speed Demon, you've had enough. Okay. You gotta hold your breath for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, to make it home, they had to think about power. They only had 2 days of power, and they had a lot longer of a trip home. It was an extra 2 days just to go around the moon.
Okay.
So what they did is they turned off their eyes and their ears, the guidance system. This also meant that the lunar module is like not ready for how cold it would get in space, especially when all of the power is turned off. So they started, and they had to cut their water intake to 1/5 of what was normal to get home. So
there's no filtration for waste in the module, right? So like, where are they?
My next point, Pete, you thought about it. Launching waste out of the ship would affect the trajectory. And they're already like they can't have more variables because it's like a shot in the dark to get home. So they're pissing in bags. And they're keeping it in there with them. Prankster Fred Hayes gets a bladder infection and a fever. So the other 2 have to cuddle him in the middle to keep him warm while remembering not to kick a hole in their
prank. I'm getting a UTI. Oh no!
I went to the moon and all I got was this lousy UTI.
Then the next engineering problem came up, and you might remember this from a movie because I remember this in the movie where there's like scientists taking like rubber hoses and smashing them together. How do we fit a square into a circle? Because there's CO2 buildup, and we have filters for CO2, but they're in the service module. They're still connected, the service module and the lunar module on the way home. And so they go to the service module, hold their breath or whatever, grab a square filter that they have to fit into a circle. I don't know why they made them 2 different adapters in the lunar module and the service module, but they didn't think ahead.
Well,
right?
they didn't have that vine, right? They didn't have that vine. That's what you got to remember, you know.
So at home, all of the engineers that are scrawling on pens on paper or pencils on paper, depending if you're USA or Russian, I guess. Uh, they duct tape cardboard and plastic bags, anything that would be in the ship. They're just trying to MacGyver a way to help them so they can get the CO2 filter to fit the circle hole. And eventually they had to rip up the cardboard off of their flight plan, not piss in a few bags that they used, and did a bunch of stuff to make it work. And they actually did it. And the humans on Earth were able to radio up, like when they turned their power on for 30 seconds a day to catch any messages, hey, do this. And then they followed the instructions and put it back together, which is
Crazy.
so cool. Yeah.
So cool. Fun fact about carbon dioxide, that is the the choking reflex that you have when you hold your breath that like makes you breathe. That's your body. Your body detects the amount of carbon dioxide in your blood to trigger that reflex. It's not about how little oxygen you have. So if you were, say, in a room of pure nitrogen, you would never feel like you were choking. You would just go to sleep. And you would just be awake, and then you would just be like, okay, I'm gonna lie down now, and then it'd be over. Yeah. Fun, right?
Is it only for CO2? Because like carbon monoxide poisoning, when that unfortunately kills people, like you just sleep through it, right, and then just suffocate.
Yeah. I don't know. I figure it's probably the same thing that you don't feel like you're choking for that reason.
I have the same thought, but I didn't want to dive too far into it to encourage people to start their cars. And, try
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Talk to people.
Check your carbon monoxide detectors.
Yes,
I guess people.
I don't have one.
You should. You're on the 3rd floor.
So they fixed the breathing. They fixed the breathing problem. They're able to now. Air's okay. They're still a little bit worried about power, but with everything off, it's okay. They're going to make it. But there's now a new problem. To get back to enter again, they have to ditch the service module. The service module is still attached to the lunar module, and the lunar module will be able to land by itself, but they can't with the service module attached to it. But they're really worried because all of the fluid in the pipes might have frozen by this point. It's been off for an entire journey home from the moon. They're not sure if the batteries will still work on things to be able to get home. They're not sure if like anything can just hold up to the freezing cold of space for this long.
They're trying, but at this point, you kind of resign yourself to just be like, at any moment, we'll all die.
Yeah.
Right?
I was just thinking, like, I mean, spoilers, we kind of know how it ends. I think I haven't seen the movie, but like, how tragic would it be to get like back to Earth and then like die there, like do all that, like pissing in bags, getting a UTI? Like, couldn't we have just fucking rocketed ourselves into the moon at 40,000 miles an hour and like made a new crater? You know, like if I knew I wasn't gonna make it, I'd rather go that way. You know.
True. So they miraculously flick the switch, and the 15 minutes left of power in this thing is able to eject it. They're able to get into the lunar module, all 3 of them. The last problem is there. They have to hit so there's like a 2-degree pie slice that you have to hit in the atmosphere when you're coming in. Because if you come in too shallow, you skip off the atmosphere and you just keep going into the depths of space. You come in too steep, you burn up.
Right.
So they have to hit now with basically none of the computers they were relying on. They said one guy was controlling the up and down of the Earth. The other guy was controlling the right and left of the Earth. And they were just radioing in, waiting for them to say, yeah, hit your booster at this exact moment to Houston.
Crazy.
Yeah. Which, insane. The world's holding its breath. By this point, everybody cares, right? Now it's like an interesting story. And they're holding their breath. And we know what happens. But they come in. They hit the atmosphere. Radio silence. Everyone's like hanging their heads thinking they burned up, and they heard the radio say, "Okay, Joe." And they fucking made it, dude. They splashed on down, and Joe Biden was okay.
Go Brandon. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So if they'd failed and he'd burned up, it wouldn't cost me $200 to fill up my Ford F-150? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't want them to make it.
They're pissing in bags, Jack. They open the capsule in the ocean. It's just like Asmongold's room in there now, basically.
Yeah. So cool. Now I have some more Apollo missions, but they're pretty pretty quick. That was like the big, meaty, really cool story for humanity as a whole. Like all the problems that kept coming up, how they're working with the people on the ground, the people in the sky being so resilient and like not giving up, and very, very cool. It gives me a lot of hope for humanity. But Apollo 14, 1971, we resumed the moon landings. Let's go back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's go back.
Went so well last time.
This one was run by Alan Shepard. He's actually the first man in space launched by USA. I don't know if
Cool.
Shepard from Mass Effect is named
Inspired by?
Inspired by.
Low Boys Cannon, yes.
I'll say yes. Yeah.
So Alan Shepard, he goes back up there. He hits a couple golf balls on the moon. So the golf balls, that's Alan Shepard who snuck his stuff up there. They land there. They get a couple samples. That went fine. Apollo 15, they extend this more on space. If you've ever seen the lunar roving vehicle, the moon buggy, which I didn't grab a photo for, but
Classic.
could be good to. That's when they went. It was Apollo 15, and this was way better for geology because wherever they landed, it wasn't as important because they could go out for hours-long trips and actually get places. Right? It's the difference between me being able to walk to my grocery store or getting a car to Costco.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This thing is so cool. It
Costco for
it does look
rocks.
like a child built it.
Yeah. On their way home on that trip, they almost failed on splashdown because one of the parachutes failed, but they had a backup parachute, so all good. They figured out redundancy by now.
Yeah, they put 2 parachutes on a skydiver. Thank God they put a second one on the fucking moon. On the moon that thing, right? On the lunar module.
Apollo 16, this is 1972. They wanted to explore the Descartes Highlands. There's suspected to be a place with ancient volcanic activity. If we have an old molten core on the moon, it can tell us a lot more about other places, right? We know that we have it here. We don't know for sure everywhere that has it.
Is the moon not cold? Like it doesn't have a heated core anymore? I thought that was just like there's like a trivia thing in my head that may not be true. I've never looked up, right?
Well, in
Yeah, I don't think there's a heated core. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it could tell us something about the past of the moon, where it came from, if it was a chunk of
Yeah.
another planet, if it could be many things. Because they did
I
find
like the idea that it's a chunk of a different planet and Earth mixed together, like Theia or whatever, where it's like debris after 2 planets collided.
what's the alien thing where a piece of another planet panspermia.
Panspermia.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun to say. Fun to say.
Pan cummies.
Yeah, exactly. The pot call the cummies black or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
So they collected some samples. It wasn't a crater. It wasn't a volcanic activity. It was a crater from a meteorite. Like, oh, that's a
Okay.
volcano, but it was just a dent in.
Okay.
It was acne scar.
Big fucking hole.
Apollo 17, our final Apollo mission, the last time that we landed on the moon, even till today. Maybe in a couple years from now, we can say that we have an updated one. But Apollo 17 in 1972, it was kind of like Armageddon because they didn't just send astronauts, they sent a geologist. Harrison Schmitt, the only geologist to ever be on the moon.
What an honor, man. Could you imagine?
Yeah, that's got to be so cool.
Yeah. That was the longest lunar stay we had, the most samples collected, and they found ancient volcanic glass beads, which could be a hint that there was a fiery history to the moon, or it could have ended up there via many other ways. But they found like
a
this
meteor
orange
creates
rock.
that shit too, right?
It was hopeful.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin lost his butt toys on the moon. I found these obsidian anal beads on them. Out here, so it's
When
strange.
Buzz Aldrin used his Prince Albert piercing to get the igniter to start, all of his butt beads went flying out. Yeah. Talk about an America arm, am I right, boys?
Oh, baby.
USA.
So big picture, we landed as humanity on the moon 6 times. Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Cool.
1972, last time, cost, shifting priorities. We haven't thought about going back until now. I did listen to a video that they said they may have found frozen water near the South Pole, I think it is, on the moon. And there's a
I
bit
feel like
of
I
a
saw something like that. Yeah.
of a new space race now between USA and China to be the first
Yeah.
person to establish a base on the moon closest to the water, because getting water to the moon, not so easy, right? A lot easier if you have access to it there.
Yeah.
And like
NASA
I
just
don't know
says
if I think
there's
that's
water
possible.
on the moon.
Yeah.
okay, well then maybe it's confirmed. Yeah, I didn't look too deeply into it.
Obviously this is mostly the inspiring feats of humanity is what this episode is about. I'm skeptical about a moon base. I feel like it's too expensive and too dangerous and way too complex to build something there.
But if China's gonna do it, we gotta do it first, or America's gotta do it
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, I think we're America in this. We'll build the arm for you guys. Like just ask. All right.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
just humble yourselves and ask, all right? And we'll build you another arm. All right. I mean, Lord knows you don't want Boeing to do it, okay? So
Oh Christ, yeah.
yeah, no, I mean I think I like the missions themselves. I think it's worth shooting for. I think the advancements in like doing it, and I do think to be a true, was it fourth tier civilization or whatever, like that will be if we ever go like interplanetary, we'll have a base on the moon. I think.
Yeah.
Because like it's complicated for sure. It's complicated because you need a system to make oxygen, which is
Mhm.
relatively easy. You can make it from water, right? You just
Yeah.
separate the water and or the hydrogen and the oxygen. The problem is water is fucking heavy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe why this
You can't
like
compress either, right? So it's just there. You
Just
Yeah,
make
yeah,
the
exactly.
Saturn 10 and put the top 3 of the 6 tanks to be water, stupid, and then
Yeah,
the
right,
bottom
yeah.
3 are jet fuel.
But right
Exactly.
now, if anybody could do it, I think China is probably number one with bullet on the current country that could probably build a moon base.
Yeah, I mean, I think the states could do it if they spent half their defense budget on it. I think
Yeah.
you guys got it, no problem. But I understand that that's tricky.
Yeah, so we already in Artemis 1 did an uncrewed test of the space launch system, rocket, and Orion capsule. Artemis 2 just completed not that long ago.
Yeah.
We did the lunar flyby, and because of the delay, I don't know if either of you are able to grab this photo, but because of the delay, the moon eclipsed the sun, and we saw the dark side of the moon with there's something called earth shine. Like part of the moon is lit from behind the sun, and that's the reflection
Okay.
of the light off of the sun hitting the moon. And it only they didn't even plan this. It happened completely by accident because the flight was delayed to April 1st. And just a really cool shot that no one ever really thought we would get. So very cool from Artemis too.
Yeah, good for them. Good for going. Thanks for going, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Lore boys to NASA, respect. All right, I think we can say
Absolutely.
you guys are still with us. When the lore uprising happens, you'll be granted the same level of amnesty you gave to the Nazis in the 40s, at the very least. All right.
Yeah, just to touch briefly on the future too. Artemis 3, mid 2027. It's going to be a near Earth mission, but they're going to test docking with a couple different things. They're kind of following the same model as we did for the last moon landing. Is test it in our orbit first, make sure it works. Then Artemis 4 is early 2028. Should be the first crewed lunar surface landing in years. And then future missions starting as late 2028. Annual landings focused on building a permanent base near the lunar South Pole. So
pretty cool.
Within our
if you
lifetime.
brought it up like a bit of material a year at a time, you could probably do it. It's just the survivability of it is something that I'm.
Costs too, man. Like that's the real thing is like the cost on Earth to do
a
it.
Pound.
We could,
yeah, if not more.
we could go out and probably get asteroids that have crazy like amounts of gold and platinum and haul them back to Earth. But it's like the cost of us doing it is just outweighs us ever trying to do it in the first place. So it's like, yeah, money makes the world go round, and even outside of the world go round, I guess.
Yeah. Instead the tech billionaires, because going to space is too hard for them. So they're just gonna strip mine the coral reefs basically, and say like that's good enough,
Yep. That's been our cast for the day. I hope you liked it. If you want to hear more about this stuff, I could probably do another episode on like Mars and things like that. I wouldn't want to talk about Elon too much, but there is some cool stuff we've done elsewhere, right? Like we've sent probes to Venus. We've
People who
done-
can read did a lot for Mars as well. We don't need to talk about Elon at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I-
There's honestly, if you ask me, Elon's done literally nothing on Mars. Okay, Like,
He knows what it is. That's
yeah,
about
all
it.
all he's done is said for the last 15 years that he's going to go there in the next
Next
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to find me on Earth, you can check me out on Lore Boy James on Twitch and now YouTube. And I also snatched up the Reddit and the Twitter and the everything. So just at Lore Boys and you'll find me on. I even grabbed an Instagram and a Facebook and everything just to
Oh,
own
hell
it.
yeah, dude.
But the YouTube streams, there hasn't been much people there yet. It's like I think I have 1 follower. So check me out, Lore Boy James on YouTube. If you can help me build that up a little bit, it would help me a lot. And it also keeps some of the money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket because the split for what actually makes it to us as creators is much better on YouTube rather than Twitch. But
Send me the
We
link,
got-
Jamie.
yeah.
I'll be your second subscriber on YouTube.
great.
Too
Now
late.
We got to get a cut. We'll have to give a cut to one billionaire no matter what we're doing. So on YouTube, I'm sure somebody else is taking it. But
But I don't know who
slightly
the
better.
CEO of YouTube is anymore. Therefore, I cannot direct any hate towards them. I know the last
Yeah,
lady
exactly.
died.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it's cool. I figured out a way that I can stream to any number of platforms. So I grabbed Kick and Rumble. Maybe I'll launch those eventually. But
Cool,
for now,
yeah.
just YouTube and
Jamie's
Twitch.
going to start doing streams to teach you how to lower a woman's self-esteem.
Yeah. Maybe read up on Rumble, but
yeah.
um,
Kick's not great either. It's really not. There's people hitting people with cars,
Oh
overdosing
God.
on drugs, a lot of
Mhm.
not cool stuff. But
But at least we went to the moon. Humanity has done a few cool things.
yeah,
True.
we totally mocked
Peter?
those Russians. Yeah,
Yeah.
Moon mogged them.
We
Moon mogged.
mogged him with our big arm.
Yeah.
At Low Bros Podcast on Instagram, and then my book, The Black Frontier, is available, linked below on Amazon. Again, I'm so sorry. Back to Bezos, but every time he says he's gonna pay me, it's the exact date I get my $3. So it's great.
If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/theloreboys, which you can check out for a couple tiers. I do want to give a shout out to longtime patron Turtle, who today suggested we create a Lore Boys space armada and posted a link to a $350,000 original Soviet cosmonaut space
She's
suit.
onto something. I want
was-
it. I think we.
I was literally writing the Apollo 11 Neil Armstrong part when she dropped the "one small step for lore" quote in Prime. And I was like, is she looking at my computer? And I thought I maybe needed to move my camera around or something. I don't know. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Shout out Turtle. If you guys want to join the Patreon and see the chat that happened in, it's on Discord under a Patreon exclusive chat. Check it out. Patreon.com/Loreboys is a link in the description. If you don't trust Patreon, we have a service we always offered, Loreboys Prime. We are, as I just mentioned, building our armada to go to space, of course. We are in very preliminary stages, all right now. So we're going through some tests. We want to make sure we're going to be perfectly safe when we get into the rocket and launch up. So we do need some people to help us with the tests. Mainly, it's going to be standing around for you guys, just standing on manhole covers, I guess, just as an example. The kind of thing we're going to ask you to stand on while we perform the tests to ensure our safety on the mission.
Oh,
basically.
there's one guy we never mentioned. Like, he was an emperor. I can't remember where. He's an Asian emperor, wanted to go to space, and had strapped just a bunch of fireworks to a throne.
Oh.
And then obviously just blew himself straight to hell, but he was trying to go to the moon. Like, he's the OG, I think.
Yeah, that's what we want you guys for. So crunch at us if you're willing to sign up for that. And I think that would constitute a Lore Boys
Lore Boys
out.
out.